Readings of Almighty God's words on the pursuit of the truth.
How to pursue the truth. 6. Last time, we fellowshipped about one reason why the negative emotion of repression emerges in people. It is brought about because they cannot do as they please. Today, we will continue to fellowship on another reason for the emergence of this negative emotion of repression, namely, that people often live in this repressive emotion because they cannot put their expertise to use. Isn't this another reason? Last time, we talked about how some people often desire to do as they please in the church or in their daily lives, idling about and failing to attend to their proper work. So when their desires go unfulfilled, they feel repressed. This time, we will fellowship about the manifestations of another group of people. These people possess certain gifts, strengths, or professional skills and abilities, or they have mastered a particular kind of technical profession, and so on. Yet, they are unable to utilize their gifts, strengths, and professional skills normally within the church. And as a result, they are often in low spirits, feeling that life in this environment is uncomfortable and unhappy, and that they are devoid of joy. In short, the word that describes this feeling is repression. In secular society, what are people like this called? They are called professionals, technical experts, and specialist experts. In short, they are referred to as experts. What characteristics do experts possess? They have high foreheads and bright eyes. They wear glasses and hold their heads high, walking at a hurried pace, handling matters decisively and efficiently. Their most prominent feature is that they carry laptops in their bags wherever they go. They are recognized immediately as professionals and technical experts. In short, people like this have certain professional abilities, or are relatively proficient in a specific kind of technology. They have received professional education and tutoring, and undergone professional instruction and training, or some of them may not have received professional tutoring and training, but they were born possessing certain talents and qualities. People like this are known as professionals and technical experts. When these people join the church, just like in society, they often carry their laptops around and want to be recognized as professionals and technical experts wherever they work. They enjoy being called experts and even prefer for professor to be added in front of their surnames, and so on. They like to be treated and addressed in this way. However, the church is a special place and a place of special work. It is different from any group or any organization or institution in secular society. What is usually discussed here? The truth, principles, rules, and work arrangements, as well as protecting the interests of God's house and testimony to God. Of course, more concretely, people are also required to practice the truth, submit to God's words and the truth principles, and to submit to the arrangements of God's house and the principles it communicates, and so on. As soon as these explicit rules are promoted, and people are required to practice and abide by them, these experts who have joined the church feel somewhat wronged. The skills they have learned, or the knowledge they hold in certain areas, often go unused in the church. They are usually not put in important positions or highly regarded, and they are frequently sidelined. Naturally, these individuals often feel idle and that their abilities are not being utilized. What do they think to themselves? Oh, this is just like the saying, if a tiger comes down to the plains, he will be insulted by dogs. Back in the day when I worked for such and such state-owned or foreign company, how glorious that was. I didn't even have to carry my own bag, and others would arrange every aspect of my daily life and work for me. I didn't have to worry about a thing. I was a high-level expert, a master technician, so I was a big shot in the company. What does it mean to be a big shot? It means that without me, the company couldn't function. It couldn't secure any orders, and all of its employees would have to take a break. The company would be at risk of going out of business. It couldn't do without me. Those were the glory days, a time when I really felt seen. Now that they believe in God, they still want to enjoy the same level of glory. They think to themselves, with my abilities, there should be even more of a place for me to shine in God's house. So why am I not being utilized? Why do the leaders and brothers and sisters in the church always overlook me? What am I lacking compared to others? In terms of appearance, I'm good looking. In terms of temperament, I'm no worse than anyone else. In terms of reputation and prestige, I have no problems at all. And in terms of technical expertise, mine is top-notch. So, why does no one pay attention to me? Why does no one listen to my words and suggestions? Why am I not well received in God's house? Could it be that God's house does not need an expert like me? How come I don't have anywhere to use my skills since coming here? One aspect of the work of God's house must need the technical skills that I have learned. My expertise should be valued here. I am a professional. I should be a team leader, a supervisor, a leader. I should lead other people. Why am I always just an underling? No one pays attention to me. No one respects me. What is going on? Is this really the treatment I should receive if I don't understand the truth? They ask themselves these questions repeatedly, but they can never find the answers, and so they fall into repression. When the choir came on stage to sing, they once asked me about their hairstyles. I said, sisters can tie their hair in a ponytail or have it cut to ear length or shoulder length. Of course, they can also wear it in a bun or an updo. Brothers can do a crew cut or have it parted. There is no need for any adornment or styling. Just make sure it looks neat, clean, sharp, and natural. In short, as long as you appear upright and dignified and have the look of a Christian, that's fine. The main thing is to sing and perform the program well. Were my words spoken clearly? Were they easy to understand? The hairstyles for both men and women were made clear. What are the principles for selecting hairstyles? Brothers can have parted hair or a crew cut, and sisters can have either short or long hair. If it's long, they can tie it in a ponytail, and if it's short, just make sure it isn't too short. That's one principle. The other principle is cleanliness and tidiness, an appearance that is positive and dignified, and a positive character. We are not aiming to become celebrities or famous people in society. We don't seek a glamorous image, just an upright and dignified appearance. In short, one should look clean, tidy, upright, and dignified. Have I made myself clear? Are these two principles easy to understand and carry out? Once people hear them, they understand them clearly in their hearts, and there is no need to repeat them. They are all too easy to achieve. After a little over 10 days, they sent me a video. As I watched it, I saw 3 or 4 rows of sisters. The first row all had styled hair, each person with a different hairstyle and arrangement. Everyone looked different. Every style looked strange, and some sisters in their 20s appeared to be in their 30s or 40s, and some looked like old ladies. In short, each person had a different hairstyle. The person who sent the video said, "We've arranged many different hairstyles for you to choose from. You can choose any one of them, and we can make it happen. It won't be difficult for us. After you pick, just give us the word and we can get it done. No problem." How do you think I felt after watching this video? I felt a bit disgusted. Then upon closer inspection, I started to get annoyed. When I remembered the principles I had explained to them, in the end I was speechless. I didn't know what to say. I thought, these people don't understand human language. I pondered over the words I had said and the principles I had communicated to them, about how they were all things that anyone could understand and comprehend. Such simple things weren't difficult for people, and people could do them. But why did they send me such a video? After investigating, I realized it wasn't that I didn't explain my point clearly, and it especially wasn't that I told them to do various different hairstyles. There are 2 reasons for this behavior. One reason is that they were unable to understand my words. Another reason is that as soon as people are able to do something, as soon as they understand something and have mastered certain skills and techniques, they don't know their place in the universe. They don't respect anyone and always want to show off. They become arrogant to the extreme. Even if they understand my words, they don't accept them or put them into practice. They don't take my words to heart, don't consider them important, and simply ignore what I say. They are just not interested in what I ask them to do or in what I need. When they asked me about the principles, in reality, they had already determined what they were going to do and how they would do it. The fact that they asked me was simply a step in their process. Isn't it a kind of mockery for them to ask that? After they finished with their mockery, no matter what I said, they did what they wanted in the end, without following my words at all. They were so self-willed. What were they thinking? You underestimate us. We are professional technicians. We interact with influential people in society. We have these skills and expertise, and wherever we go, we can live a good life and earn people's respect. Only when we come into God's house do we become service doers, and we are constantly looked down upon. We have skills. We are experts. We are not ordinary people. We should be respected in God's house. You cannot suppress our talents like this. We utilize our expertise in God's house, and you should support us and back us up. Isn't this rude and unreasonable? Is there any normal humanity in it? When I saw it, I thought, these people cannot be reasoned with. When I told them the principles, I even asked them repeatedly, have you understood? Will you remember? They promised me thoroughly to my face, but then as soon as they turned around, they immediately went back on their word. They said things that sound so good. I am here to perform my duty. I am here to satisfy God. Is that what you call performing your duty? Are you really satisfying God? You are satisfying your own flesh, your own reputation. You are here to pursue your own career, not to perform your duty. In other words, you have come into God's house to wreak havoc. Tell me, who has the final say in the principles people should uphold in all aspects of the work of God's house? Is it you or God?
God has the final say.
Are your words the truth or are God's?
God's words are the truth.
Everything you say is a kind of doctrine. If that doctrine does not align with the truth, then it becomes a fallacy. Since you admit that what I say is the truth, why are you unable to accept it? Why is it that when I speak to you, it has no effect? You say nice things in front of my face, but behind my back, you do not practice the truth. What is going on? When corrupt humanity possesses just a little bit of talent, expertise, or ideas, they become arrogant and conceited and refuse to obey anyone. They don't listen to what anyone tells them. Isn't this just too irrational? If you think you are doing what is right, then why do you let me examine it? When I point out your flaws and expose your mistakes, why are you unable to accept it? You do not understand the truth, but I can fellowship with you about the truth. I know how to act in accordance with the truth, in accordance with the principles, with saintly decency. I know how to act in a way that edifies others. Do you? If you don't even know these things, why are you still unable to accept the truth? Why don't you do as I say? Some people excel in writing. They are naturally gifted with organizing language and conveying ideas. They may also possess a certain level of literary competence, employing certain techniques and styles when describing things. But does having these qualities mean they understand the truth? This is merely one aspect of knowledge, one facet of a person's gifts and talents. It means that you possess a certain talent, that you are good at writing and conveying ideas through language, and that you are well grounded in the use of words. Being good at such things makes some people think, I wield the pen in God's house. I should engage in text-based work. It's good to have more people engaged in text-based work. The house of God needs it. However, what the house of God requires is not only what you excel in, nor just your professional capabilities. Your professional skills and expertise are merely tools for the work you engage in. Regardless of your professional abilities and skill level, you should align yourself with the principles required by God's house and achieve the desired results and goals set forth by the house of God. God's house has required standards and related principles for these results and goals. It does not let you act based on your personal taste or preferences. For example, some people have good writing skills and write scripts with elaborate language and a vividly organized plot. But does that achieve the desired result? Far from attaining the effect of bearing witness to God, such scripts simply don't hold up. However, these scriptwriters feel satisfied and confident with their ability to write fancy language, and they think highly of themselves. They do not understand that a script must achieve the effect of bearing witness to God, of spreading God's word. This is the aim. God's house requires that a script must portray the words of God that the protagonist reads, and the genuine understanding that the protagonist gains through experiencing and practicing God's words under the guidance of God's work. In one respect, it must serve as a testimony to God, and in another, it must spread His word. Only then does the script achieve the desired result. The house of God has these requirements. Do you think this makes things difficult for people? No, this is the work of God's house. However, these scriptwriters are unwilling to do it this way. Their attitude is, "What I have written is already perfect and specific enough. If you ask me to add that material, it will go against my intention. I'm not happy with it, and I don't want to write it that way." Although this material was reluctantly added later, their emotions have changed significantly by then. Some say, "It feels so repressive to do our duty in the house of God. There are always people pruning and finding fault with us. I feel truly cornered," as they say, "beggars can't be choosers. If only I could have the final say and write what I please, how great would that be?" While doing our duty in God's house, we always have to listen to others and accept pruning. It's too repressive. Is this the correct attitude? What kind of disposition is this? It's too arrogant and self-righteous. There are also those in the choir who do the duty of applying makeup. They like the hairstyles of unbelievers, but the end result of those hairstyles is rejected. Why? Because the house of God does not want demonic hairstyles. It wants hairstyles that are normal, dignified, and upright. Whatever hairstyle you're able to do, you can go and display it in the world of unbelievers. They need such experts, but the house of God does not. Some people say they are willing to apply these hairstyles for free in God's house, but even then, it's not wanted or appreciated. It's disgusting to witness. What the house of God requires is for you to appear dignified and upright, like a decent person. It doesn't need you to be elegant, to resemble palace nobility, and certainly not to be like a princess, a lady, a wealthy young master, or a lord. We are ordinary people, without any status, position, or value, just the most normal and unremarkable people. It is best to be an ordinary person, not noble or refined, to wear ordinary clothes and have the appearance of an ordinary person, to not pretend, but to enjoy what you are able to do, and be content with living the life of an ordinary person without ambition or desire. This is the best. This is the life of someone with normal humanity. You are just an ordinary person, yet you are always trying to act like a noble person. Isn't that disgusting? You are always trying to display your expertise in the house of God and show off. Let me tell you, is it valuable to show off your expertise? If it truly has value, then it's acceptable. But if it has no value whatsoever, and instead becomes disruptive and destructive, then you are just showing your repulsive nature and undesirable qualities. Do you know the consequences of revealing such things? If you don't know, please don't reveal them. What you can do, what technical skills you possess, what special talents you naturally excel in or possess, none of that is considered noble. You are merely an ordinary person. Some people say, I'm proficient in several languages. Then, go work as a translator and do your translation work well. Then you can be considered a good person. Some people say, I can recite the entire Xinhua dictionary. So what if you've memorized the entire Xinhua dictionary? Does that enable you to spread the gospel? Does it enable you to bear witness to God? Some people say, I can read 10 lines at a glance. I can read 100 pages of God's Word in a day. Look at this skill. Isn't it impressive? You may be able to read 100 pages of the Word appears in the flesh in one day. But what do you understand from it? What aspect of the truth do you understand? Can you put it into practice? Some people say, I am a child prodigy. I could sing and write poems by the age of 5. Is that useful? Unbelievers may admire you, but there is no use for you in the house of God. Let's say I asked you to compose a song right now praising God. Could you do it? If you can't, it means you don't understand any aspect of the truth. Having gifts alone is not a big deal. If you don't understand the truth, you won't be able to accomplish anything. Regardless of the gifts, skills, or talents a person possesses, in reality, these are merely tools. If they can be used for positive things and have a positive impact, they may be said to hold some value. If they cannot be used for positive things or have a positive impact, then they have no value, and learning them is useless and burdensome to you. If you can apply your professional skills or talents in the performance of your duty, and fulfill a task in God's house in accordance with the truth principles, then your professional skills and talents may be said to be used in the proper place and to serve a purpose. This is the value they possess. On the other hand, if you can't apply them at all to your performance of duty, then your professional skills and talents have no value and are worth nothing to me. For example, some people are naturally eloquent and articulate, and are skilled linguists and agile thinkers. This can be considered a talent. In the world, if people like this engage in public speaking, publicity, or negotiation, or work as judges, lawyers, or in similar occupations, then they have a place for their talents. In God's house, however, if you possess such a talent but don't understand any aspect of the truth, not even a basic understanding of the truth of visions, and cannot spread the gospel or bear witness to God, then your gift or talent is of little value. If you constantly live off your gift, parading your talent everywhere you go, boasting and preaching words and doctrines, you will become repulsive to people. Because every word you speak will become nauseating, and every thought or viewpoint you express will become tiresome. In that case, it will be better for you to remain silent. The more you try to showcase yourself and perform, the more repugnant you will become. People will say, "Shut your foul mouth. What you're saying is all doctrine, but who doesn't understand it already? How many years have you been preaching? Your words are no different from those of the Pharisees, full of empty theories that pollute the church environment. No one wants to listen." You see, it stirs up anger and repulses people. Therefore, it's better for you to focus more on the truth and seek more understanding of the truth. And that is a true ability. The more I say this, the more these capable and expert people feel repressed, thinking, "It's over now. There's no way out." I've always considered myself talented, excelling, and being put in key positions wherever I go. Isn't there a saying, if it's gold, sooner or later it's going to shine? But I've unexpectedly hit a wall in God's house. It feels repressive, so repressive. How did I end up like this? Believing in God is a good thing. So why do exceptionally talented and advanced experts like this feel repressed when they come into the house of God? They have felt repressed for so many years now that they suffer from depression. They no longer even know how to speak or act. In the end, some say, "Being pruned constantly feels so repressive. Now I'm much more well-behaved, and I agree with whatever the church leaders or group leaders say, always replying yes or okay." It may seem like they've learned to submit and obey, but they still don't understand the principles or how to fulfill their duties properly. They carry this sense of repression with them and feel indignant and undervalued. When asked about their education level, some say, "I received my bachelor's." Others, "I have a master's." Others, "I have a PhD," or "I graduated from medical school," "I studied finance," or "I studied management," while others are programmers or engineers. If they do not already have a doctor in front of their name, then they have some other formal title. These people are not addressed as such in God's house, nor are they treated with any high regard. They often feel repressed and lose their sense of identity. The church has all kinds of experts, including musicians, dancers, filmmakers, technicians, business professionals, economists, and even politicians. While among the brothers and sisters, these people often say, "I'm a respected executive in a state-owned enterprise. I'm the senior executive of a multinational corporation. I'm the CEO. Who have I ever been afraid of? Who have I ever submitted to? I was born with management skills, and wherever I go, I should be in a position of authority. I should be the one in charge, always the one managing other people, and no one can manage me." So, in God's house, I should at the very least be a group leader or a person in charge. Not long after, it becomes clear to everyone that these people have no truth reality, are incapable of doing any task, and are particularly arrogant and self-conceited. They fail to fulfill any duty properly, and ultimately, some of them can only be assigned tasks of manual labor. while others are always unwilling to submit, constantly trying to show off their abilities and running amok. As a result, they cause too much trouble, anger the congregation, and are finally cleared out. Won't these people feel repressed? In the end, they summarize their experience with a statement: "The house of God is not a place for talented people like us. We are like thoroughbred horses, but there is no discerning judge in the house of God." Those who believe in God are ignorant and ill-informed, especially those who are leaders at various levels. Although they understand the truth, they fail to recognize that we are thoroughbreds. We must go and find someone who can recognize our talents. In the end, they come to this conclusion. There are others who say, "There is too little space in the house of God to accommodate us." We are all important figures, while those who believe in God are humble people from the lower classes of society: farmers, street vendors, and small business owners. There are no top-ranking experts among them. Although the church is small, the world is wide, and in such a big world, there must be a place for us. We, the talented ones, will eventually find our own appraiser. Let's wish these people good luck in finding their appraiser, shall we? On the day they say goodbye to us after finding their appraiser, let us give them a farewell dinner and hope that they find their rightful place, free from any emotions of repression. May they live better than us, and may they have a peaceful life. By our saying this, do these people with repressed emotions feel a bit relieved? Their feelings of tightness in the chest, swelling in the head, heaviness in the heart, physical discomfort, and uneasiness, have those feelings disappeared? I hope their wishes come true, that they no longer feel repressed, and that they are able to live happily and freely. Tell me, do you think that God's house is intentionally making things difficult for these talented individuals? Absolutely not. Then why do the various principles, work arrangements, and the requirements for each item of work in God's house give rise to repressive emotions in them? Why do these talented individuals get trapped within repressive emotions in God's house? Did God's house make a mistake? Or is God's house intentionally making things difficult for these people? In terms of doctrine, you all understand that both of these explanations are absolutely incorrect. Then why does this happen?
It is because people impose the professional expertise they have acquired in the secular world, or their personal preferences onto the principles and requirements of God's house in the course of doing their duties.
But does God's house allow them to impose these things onto its requirements and principles? Absolutely not. Some people feel repressed because God's house does not permit this. What do you think they should do about that?
Before doing each duty, they must first understand the requirements and principles that God's house has for that duty. After accurately grasping these principles, they can then apply the professional expertise that they have mastered in a reasonable manner.
This principle is correct. Now tell me, is constantly wanting to display one's expertise and show off one's abilities in God's house the correct starting point?
No, it is not.
In what way is it incorrect? Please explain the reason.
Their intention is to show off and distinguish themselves. They are pursuing their own careers. They are not thinking about how they can perform their duties well, or how to act in a way that benefits the work of God's house. Instead, they want to act according to their own preferences, without safeguarding the interests of God's house, or seeking the truth principles.
How do others view this matter?
Always showing off whenever something happens is a satanic disposition. They do not think about how to do their duties and bear witness to God. They always want to bear witness to themselves, and this path is inherently wrong.
This starting point is inherently incorrect. That is certain. So, in what way is it incorrect? This is an issue that you are all unable to refute. It seems that all of you are feeling repressed, and that you all want to display your expertise in order to showcase your abilities. Isn't that right? Among the unbelievers, there is a saying. What is it? An old lady puts on lipstick to give you something to look at. Isn't this what showcasing your abilities means? Showcasing your abilities means wanting to display your capabilities and show off, to gain prestige and status among others, and to be highly regarded. At the very least, it is about wanting to use the opportunity of showcasing one's abilities to inform and notify others that I have some real skills. I am not an ordinary person. Do not look down on me. I am a talented individual. At the very least, that is the meaning behind it. So, when someone has such intentions and always wants to showcase their abilities, what is the nature of this? They want to pursue their own career, to manage their own status, to gain a foothold and prestige among other people. It's as simple as that. They are not doing it to perform their duty or for the sake of God's house, and they are not seeking the truth and acting according to the principles and requirements of God's house. They are doing it for themselves, to make themselves more widely recognized, to elevate their worth and reputation. They are doing it so that people will elect them as a supervisor or as a leader. Once they are elected as a leader or a worker, won't they then have status? Won't they then be in the spotlight? This is their pursuit. Their starting point is as simple as that. It is nothing more than the pursuit of status. They are purposefully chasing status, and they are not protecting the work of God's house or its interests.